Are you okay?
According to the duration of this video, it would be a good amount of time to check in with yourself. Now, when I think of check in with yourself, or actually when you think of check in with yourself, what does it come to mind? Well, the way I see it is there are two people, you and yourself, and you check in with one another. So when we do that, what does one person say to the other? The reason why I say this is because even when you're still a kid or when you're a grown adult, there will be times when you still have to check in with yourself, even to the point where something becomes completely out of control, and you feel like you need to remove yourself from the situation. It's okay. You can do that. It's all about checking in with yourself for these kind of things too. If you need a moment, it's okay to say, "Excuse me, may I be excused?" If they say, you can't be excused at the moment, it's okay. Just take it from me when I say, just wait just a tiny bit longer. It's all a matter of think you can handle it until you think if it's an emergency. Then that's when you say, "Shoot, I gotta get going," and all that kind of stuff too. I can't do it at the moment. It's okay. Sometimes there are times where you can do it. When it comes to regulation and going through until the end of the day. And then sometimes there are moments where you couldn't, and sometimes painful things like this happen. It's all about the recovery process of that too. And that's why it's very important for these things to make sure you check in with yourself for these kind of things. So what we check ourselves about, well, how do we feel? What's going on? Assess the situation, and figure out the solutions of what goes on, and also keep in mind to remind yourself that it's all going to be over pretty soon. And then before you know it, you'll be safe and back home and be able to get a good night's sleep. That's the ultimate rewards when it comes to these extreme situations, I guess you could say. And it's all part of taking on the challenge and making it all the way through. So make it a priority to celebrate after a chaotic day, not kind of stuff too. Take it from me, because Tuesdays are not really quite my favorite kind of days. And the reason why is because the garbage truck keeps on popping up every morning, and it wakes me from my slumber. And take it from me where it's like where it's just like, man, I was having a good night's sleep too, and then the garbage truck decides to ruin it, with their junk kind of thing too. But at the end of the day, you could just take a moment to do what makes you feel happy, do what you love, or do whatever that is good self-therapy, I guess you could say too. One of my favorite self-therapies happens to be taking a bath and reading in the bathtub. That's one of my favorite things to do. Along with that, it's also doing some experiments with my computer and listening to music. I got a little collection of CDs that I like to listen to. So there's that, and sometimes even play games. That's right. Sometimes I like to play computer games every so often too. That's kind of my way of celebrating. After a long day, but also kind of it's just it's very comforting, I guess you can say too. Do you like games? Like computer games, video games, and all that kind of stuff too? on the television. It's to me it's pretty fun. One of my favorite kinds of video games happens to be ones in the arcades. Those are really cool. you know I like to save those for much later, especially like after a successful keynote event too, where I can just sit back, or stand up, or depending on what the game is of choice, and kind of just enjoy the video games in the arcades. We can go on and on about that concept too, because it's kind of a fun topic. But yeah, I mean, we could still do it by leaving some comments down below. It's, you might talk about that concept too. But yeah, it's all about checking in with yourself for these kind of things too. And it's okay. Speaking of recreational activities, check in with yourself, and this time it's going to be you that determines if you believe that you deserve some recreation. It's all up to you, and all that kind of thing too. And you can ask your parents if you want to do something fun, and all that kind of thing too, as a reward for making it through the day, or making it through the week, and all that kind of thing too. I remember there was a mother who has a son with autism, and one of the biggest things that the son has accomplished happens to be going through the supermarket unscathed and without a single meltdown. That is worth celebration. So if you have those supermarket moments, or those little moments where you feel like you can take them all on and succeed in a day, feel free to leave them down. And also, how do you check in with yourself too? What are some strategies that works for you? Feel free to share them down below, and we can all discuss it all together and learn how to check in with ourselves. I'm definitely gonna check in with myself after this video, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. Maybe listen to that album over there, the one that's green with the character with the hiya chuff. That's how I like to do it too. I checking with myself at the moment. I feel like listening to that album over there too. I think it's going to be nice. I feel like I deserve it after a long day of work. So that's what I like to do personally. Listen to music, especially that album over there. So, what do you like to do? Well, when you're checking with yourself, it can be a fun night to do it. It doesn't have to be too serious. We can just make some fun of it too. So feel free to do that. And yeah, it's this is the part where I probably should be checking with myself after the video of how do I properly end these videos too. And I swear it's like sometimes I'm still trying to figure out. Although I could say, it's like I say in a majority of my keynote events, and that is simply with a catchphrase, I guess you could say. So here it is: when you fail, fail forward. That's all for today.